When it comes to speeches, the first and most important guideline is know your audience. And when it comes to Matthew Edelstein, the only qualification that matters is entertainment, pure and simple. Did anyone come here expecting to hear life lessons, pearls of wisdom, or one last chance to speak to the little boy I love before he becomes a man? Forget it. For better or worse, these lofty ideals mean absolutely nothing in this situation. This speech is from me to you. And the only thing that matters is making sure you're entertained and that you enjoy the next 5 minutes of your afternoon. So with that in mind, I set about assembling a committee of leading speechwriters and assigning them the task of scheduling a luncheon with the purpose of forming a team who will create a plan to appoint a czar chiefly responsible for arranging a junket to an unnamed city, during which a ceremony will take place recognizing the leading philanthropic organizations tasked with setting up an advisory board whose mission will be to render a proposal about chairing a meeting of trusted advisors, at which a scheme will be floated concerning an emerging strategy to develop a platform to solicit support for the overarching goal of reviving a popular campaign to reiterate their unending devotion to hiring a unit of outside experts with the objective of seeking recommendations about initiating a program dedicated to finding a way to create a business model with the intention of enhancing our approach to discovering a superior means to allocate our limited resources for the sole purpose of assembling a committee of leading speechwriters.
That was longer than you've ever gone.
Ever that way. Yep.
That's a record.
When you were born, my first and so far only son, I couldn't help but wonder which traits and characteristics you would inherit from me. Would it be my sweet disposition, my grandmotherly tidiness, my impeccable taste in clothing, my stifling political correctness, my dedicated religious observance, my undying faith in human nature, my ironclad sobriety, or my infinite fondness for social and family gatherings just like this one? None of the above. Instead, you inherited croup, the adorable and endearing habit of barking like a dog and being unable to breathe at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm bouncing.
Having grown up with croup myself, I knew the terror and helplessness of suffocation, especially for my parents. So I'm going to tell you a secret, something I've never told you before, because I wanted to wait until we were alone.
Great idea.
Somewhere during one of those many long and harrowing nights of your infancy, I literally sold my soul to make you better and get you through the night. I'm not sure who I sold it to or what they plan to do with it. But just for the record, everyone here now knows the truth. This is why Mark has no soul. And if it got you through just one night, then it was easily worth it. As you grew older, other unexpected life lessons gradually revealed themselves, such as sons and daughters are very different. Of course, daughters have their own benefits. Notice that you and I were the only ones without professional makeup and hair appointments today. But daughters don't spend every Sunday afternoon watching football with their father or travel 2,000 miles to Arizona to watch the Cardinals lose.
When?
Half the time. Daughters don't beg you to take out the airsoft into the backyard. Daughters don't turn on MLB Quick Pitch for you at 6:30 in the morning. Daughters don't ask you how to beat King Hippo or Piston Honda in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And they certainly don't learn to dominate Tecmo Bowl on an 80s video game emulator and then make you watch them beat it over and over again. Daughters also don't ask if they can cue up TED 2 on the back seat of an airplane. When Matthew asked me that question, I knew that a good father would never let his son watch TED 2. But a great father would let him record it, watch it 30 times, and then quote it back and forth to him on a daily basis. The reasons are simple. You may not believe this, but I was never a 13-year-old girl. However, I was once a 13-year-old boy, and I assure you that my inner Beavis and Butthead is alive and well, especially when it comes to raising my children. I'm the guy who considers Cats in the Cradle an insightful how-to guide. I'm the one who boos Grandpa Joe off the screen so I can get wholesome pointers from the other Wonka parents. And yet somehow, despite all of this, you turned into a sensitive, wonderful, affectionate human being, and we all know who to thank for that. I don't want to go on too long. Too late. And I don't want to get all misty either, since that's your mother's department also. But I do feel an obligation to talk to you just a little bit about your future. Unlike some parents or politicians who exhort the youth of America to change the world, serve mankind, or make the world a better place, this will never be enough for you. My son wants to own yachts and jets and football teams. Who doesn't? So to get where you want to be, you're going to need one thing: cash. Lots and lots of cash. I prefer you obey the law to get there. In fact, I insist on it. But I know you're smart enough to do it. And after you've made your billions, don't let anyone denigrate you for it, because strangely enough, those are usually the same people trying to take it away. It also pays to remember that American billionaires have a peculiar habit of changing the world as they go, whether they intend to or not. Of course, they also have a habit of dropping out of Harvard, which you can forget about right now. You're not going to Harvard, you're going to Brown. So I suppose it's time to wrap this up. After all, that sister-sister marathon ain't gonna watch itself. Like I always say, life consists of stumbling from accident to accident until one day you wake up at your son's bar mitzvah and wonder how you got there. But I wouldn't trade today for...
Okay.
Good question, though. But I wouldn't trade today for anything. So whether life comes at you clockwise or counterclockwise, I want you to go out there and succeed, because that's all you were born to do. You're a better son than I ever thought I deserved, and I love you.
Oh no, I